It's 19 past 7. Well, an investigation into truck pollution in Melbourne's west has respiratory experts concerned that the issue isn't going away. And that's of even greater concern when you look at the history of requests that have been made. This is an issue which anyone familiar with Melbourne, particularly anyone living out west, has been grappling with and struggling with in many cases for many years. Martin Wurt is the president of the Maribyrnong Truck Action Group. G'day, Martin. Thanks for your time.
Oh, hi, Sammy. Thanks for talking to me this morning.
Well, my pleasure. You're on the radio right now. Just maybe some politicians are listening. What are you asking for? And in fact, what have you been asking for many years?
Yeah, look, for over 20 years now, we've been calling for solutions to the amount of trucks on our streets here in the inner west. There's been many promises made over the years, but a lot of these promises, they don't eventuate, or they take years to actually eventuate. And I suppose what that story in the Age at the moment really highlights is just the failures of government to tackle the issue. So we're saying there's 4 things that they could do for us that would make a huge difference here. 1 is to put in a low emission zone. 2 would be to ban trucks while kids are out in the playground at lunchtime. 3, filtration on the Westgate Tunnel vent stacks that they're currently building. And 4 is to ban old trucks from using the Port of Melbourne.
For a bit of context here, the article you referred to is this deep dive in the Age today, which basically has some international experts saying that we're heading towards a public health emergency. That's heading towards a tipping point. On those 4 points, what exactly is a low emissions zone? How would that work in practice?
Okay, a low emission zone, it's putting an area in where you limit the times that old dirty trucks can operate in that area. London's had one for quite a number of years now. Pollution controls on trucks are rated as Euro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the cleanest. And what London's done is they ban any trucks Euro 5 or older from using that area. And what they've managed to achieve in the first 6 months, they reduced their diesel pollution in that area by 36%. So you put a zone in like that in Melbourne's inner west, which would encompass, where our kindergartens are, where our schools are, where our houses are, and you'd limit the access times for those old dirty trucks. And unfortunately in Australia, we've got one of the oldest truck fleets. So our trucks are putting out way more pollution than what they should.
I'm chatting to Martin Wurt, president of the Maribyrnong Truck Action Group. If you have been following this story, if you have been, then you will be aware of the number of times it's in the news, not least from residents also who are concerned. What is the actual problem specifically on the ground for locals? What is the issue that we're trying to fix?
Okay, well, the issue we've got here is the city of Maribyrnong has some of the worst hospitalisation rates for diesel-related health problems in Australia. Like if you look at we've got the highest hospital admission rates for children with asthma in Australia, and that's outrageous. That just shouldn't be happening. Maribyrnong's got, a young population. I think the average age is 35 years. We've got low smoking rates, etc. But we have about 8 million trucks using our residential streets every year. We've got some of the highest hospital admission rates for heart failure for adults, hospital admissions for stroke, for asthma, for lung cancer. And these are all preventable diseases. If the government just rolled up their sleeves and put something in place like a low emission zone.
Martin, what hope is there for you right now? Are you having responses? Does it feel like there's any progress being made, or is this really
Oh, look, the government acknowledges the problem. There's report after report that acknowledges the problem.
We can all acknowledge problems, though, can't we?
We've gone from the government saying there's no problem here to actually acknowledging it. But we've got to move forward and actually put something in place and stop talking about it. The government says the Westgate Tunnel project's going to be the big solution to the trucks here. But, that's years and years behind schedule. We'll promise that was going to be finished years ago, and we don't even know when it's going to be finished yet. And they're not even putting filtration on the vent stack. So all the pollution coming out of that tunnel isn't going to be filtered. There's one easy thing they could do tomorrow with the stroke of a pen is filter the Westgate Tunnel project.
Slightly bigger solution, according to Neil on the text line, is to move the Port of Melbourne to Western Port. End of story, says Neil.
Yeah, I think that the gate's closed on that one. Yep. We've now basically privatised the port. It's not going anywhere for the next 50 years.
Martin, it's a huge issue. It's a bit of a sleeper issue for many residents who do not live on that side of town, and I think that's part of the problem as well. It's really important this remains in the news, remains being discussed, and that solutions are found, because it's simply not fair.
Yeah, and I think the rest of Melbourne needs to realise that all the stuff getting moved around trucks here is the stuff they're buying in supermarkets, buying online, etc. It's just unfortunate the city of Maribyrnong is between the port and warehouses further out west, so we bear the brunt of all those truck movements to bring in those imported products.
Well said, Martin. Let's stay in touch and keep updated.
Thanks so much, Sammy. I really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. Martin Wurt, they're president of the Maribyrnong Truck Action Group. It's 24 minutes past 7.